Overconsumption, destruction of forests, pollution of the seas. How is it possible that we, the most intelligent beings that ever walked this planet, are destroying our only home? Yet we continue to destroy it at ever greater speed. You see, the compounded impact of our growing population is now directly threatening our very own existence. Many of times, nature determined how we survived. Now, for the first time, we determine how nature will survive. Consider these facts. 96% of the mammals on our planet today are comprised of us humans and the livestock that we have domesticated. And only 4% is everything else, from elephants to badgers to tigers to bats. So much so that 70% of all birds on our planet today are now domesticated poultry. You see, since the 1970s, we have lost 60% of vertebrate species and 80% of insect species. As we lose species, we also lose the extraordinary capacity of natural systems to breathe life into the resources that allow us to live at a fundamental existential level. But do we care? Each year we waste 1.3 billion tons of food, which is equivalent to 1/3 of the annual food supply. And we only recycle 9% of all plastics. That means unless it's been burnt, every single piece of plastic ever made still exists on this planet and is probably inside us or inside our children in some form. Furthermore, the climate change crisis is interlocked with the nexus of other global crises, like climate refugees, political crisis, and perhaps, most importantly, a collective moral crisis. Within the next decade or so, we are going to pass a number of tipping points from where recovery would be next to impossible. And to stay below the 1.5 degrees as per the Paris Agreement, we must emit less than 250 billion tons of carbon dioxide. But at our current rate, if we continue to emit 40 billion tons of CO2, our time and our budget will run out within the mere next 7 years. So you see, we're already observing the aftermaths of rising sea levels, failed harvests, food, water, and energy insecurity. And we shouldn't be ignorant and think that it won't affect us. This climate cancer is going to affect us all. We are all in trouble, and we are on a highway to climate hell with our foot on the accelerator. And unfortunately, we are stealing our children's future. How will we explain our ignorance and our lack of action to our children?
We live the future you have created. You have failed us. Our world is unlivable. Our childhoods stolen.
Stolen forever.
What happened to your promises? What happened to our future?
Our lands are bare. Our oceans dry. The world is burning. The planet lost.
Lost forever.
You had the means, and you did nothing. Why? Why didn't you do anything?
You robbed us of our tomorrows. Our dreams are barren, wasted, gone.
Gone forever.
Your ignorance has condemned us to days of darkness, a life not worth living. a world without hope.
How could you abandon us? Is this your legacy? How dare you be so selfish?
How dare you?
Perhaps this realization will give us the motivation we need to rewrite their future. As far as we know, on our planet, there have been 5 major events of mass extinction. Events caused by changes so severe that many species simply surrendered to extinction and ceased to exist. We watch cartoons about some of these creatures and have toys to remember them with. And the hard reality right now is that we're in the midst of Earth's 6th mass extinction. One every bit as profound and as far-reaching as that which wiped out the dinosaurs. Shaista rightly pointed out, this fight for climate change is actually a fight for our survival. It's true, we have inherited an ecosystem that is layered and complex, but it's our ecosystem. It's our home. And the irony is that the destruction of our home comes down to a single number, just a single number, the concentration of carbon in our atmosphere. A single unit of measure that determines global temperatures. And the change in that one number defines our relationship with our planet. This year, the world will evaluate exactly where we stand when it comes to climate progress, thanks to the first global stocktake scheduled to take place right here in the UAE at the COP28. But we already know what the outcome will be. And it's ugly. The world is way off track. And we need a major, major course correction. Whatever happens over the next century will be determined by how we played our cards in this very decade, especially in the next few years. The UAE is blessed with leadership that has actively invested its wealth in the health of its nation. A leadership that has balanced economic growth together with environmental responsibility and put climate action at the heart of the development agenda. So, we are already in the midst of the 4th industrial revolution, which will power millions of sustainable innovations. So we must embrace AI, machine learning, and all the transformative technologies available to us. We must transform the way we work, the way we live, the way we think. As this transformation is not only our weapon against climate change, but also a great opportunity for progress and economic growth. I believe in our lifetime, we will approach the singularity. A new era where we move into the 5th industrial revolution, where man and machine come into unison. And as the world is changing, so should we. So at Pure Health, we are transforming the way we think, the way we look at sick care, patient access, and the overall concept of healthcare. So to ensure transparency of our actions, we have aligned our plans with the international standards of SBTi. And with the science-based targets, I'm extremely excited and proud to say that Pure Health is committing to achieving net zero by the year 2040. This commitment reflects our dedication to 2 core objectives. 1, the longevity of our planet is critical for the mission, for the longevity of our people. No planet, no people. And 2, promoting and sharing sustainable healthcare practices with all our peers and colleagues through collaboration, partnership, to win this war against climate change. Avoiding a climate disaster is one of the greatest challenges humanity has ever faced. Therefore, we have to set aggressive near-term targets. Addressing the near-term targets is something which should be shared with everybody, and we at Pure Health emphasize the point that action has to be taken now. So our transformative efforts are recognized on day one. You see, since the beginning of the first industrial revolution, globally, we have emitted over 2,400 billion tons of carbon dioxide. And to honor the Paris Agreement, we collectively, and I mean collectively, need to reduce our emissions within a very, very short time span. Which is why at Pure Health, we are committing to powering our operations with 100% renewable energy by the year 2027. And more importantly, our target is to reduce 50% of our overall emissions by the year 2030. I can proudly say that Pure Health is the first and only healthcare company in the Middle East that is part of the United Nations-backed Race to Zero initiative. And we collaborate with a pantheon of global networks of like-minded organizations to ensure that our actions are meaningful, collaborative, and more importantly, globally aligned. Many of you know that there has been a consolidation of healthcare assets within Pure Health. And that has resulted in all of these assets working collectively towards a single vision of longevity, something that wasn't there before. So our teams have been working tirelessly over the last 2 years to build a comprehensive roadmap, and our decarbonization roadmap unites technology at every aspect of how we work, moving away from the traditional brick and mortar way of delivering healthcare to our vision of taking healthcare to the cloud, delivering care to the edge, personalized to each individual to ensure we keep them healthy and prevent them from becoming sick. I often think to myself, what would the world look like in 20, 30, 40 years from now? We saw a glimpse earlier if we do nothing to overcome this crisis. So I offer you an alternative to that future, one where your and my children will live the lives they are meant to. You know, there are moments in history when humanity comes together to stand to a common threat. And most recently, we collectively, and I mean collectively, fought a viral pandemic. And while we may have won that battle, we must now rise together to fight the threat of this climate war. It's a remarkable time to be alive. But unlike other generations in human history, we carry a great responsibility to act decisively. Because no other species has been as remotely, as clever, or ingenious as us human beings. So let us live up to that universal stature. It comes down to this. The generation that will follow will look back at this very moment and ask one simple question. Did you do everything in your power to leave a better future for us? I have every reason to believe that that answer can be yes. So for the sake of our children's future, let us begin the work that will witness a wonderful recovery to a wonderful world towards the longevity of our planet. Thank you.